Hey everybody, welcome back. So the dust has settled on K-Blade Evolved, and I finished it multiple times, even beat on less so. Let's talk about it, because I got some thoughts. So, as soon as you boot the game up, you're greeted with the main menu, or more so recreation of it. And gotta say, I feel it's not bad. I get what they're going for, but the issue for me and a lot of others is the design of the ring itself, because we feel that the foreigner architecture in this game is like too busy, if that makes sense. Because if it's essentially going back to what Halo 4 and Halo 5 did with the foreigner architecture of it. People weren't big fans of it in those games when those games came out. So I get, which is kind of weird because I feel that how they did it in Halo Infinite was really good. I thought that was a step in the right direction for a lot of reasons. So it's kind of weird that they went back to busyfication of it, if that makes sense. But anyways, we gotta talk about the big elephant in the room with the prequel missions, which is Lieutenant Williams. Do I like her? She wasn't too big. I did not get into her character at all. But is she the worst character that Twitter was saying? No, I don't. I don't believe that at all. However, though, but I mean, the reason why we all feel that way is because of the underwhelming writing in this, which is kind of weird because the writer for these prequel missions is the same dude who wrote multiple Halo novels. So it's kind of interesting that it's such a downgrade from those, because I feel the novels that he's done is actually really good. So it's kind of weird. But so let's talk about the actual gameplay. How was it? It's really good. I feel so. I think it's really good. And I do like the banter between Chief and Johnson in the missions. So it's pretty. You can still see like some of Chief's dry sense of humor that he's always had in the games. So it's kind of nice. And as for Johnson himself, though, his new voice actor is not that bad. He does sound like the original. At least that's what they were trying to do. So I mean, it was different, but it's not bad, if that makes sense. But the actual level design and gameplay of it, I like it. I think the level design is really good. So I wonder if they were going for kind of the more openness that of the original game, of Combat Evolved. And that's what they were going for. At least that's what it seems like to me. But who knows though? I also like the new white/gold architecture of the Covenant in these new missions. It's really cool, actually. I like it. So, however, though, there's one particular cutscene in these prequel missions that really turned me off hardcore. If you guys have seen it, you would understand why I'm not a big fan of it. You would understand. Now, space combat. I like it. It's nice that space combat actually made a return, because we have not seen space combat in the first person shooter games for a while in this series. So I think it's underrepresented in this franchise, and I think we should see more of it in the future. So do more of that, Halo Studios. Do more of that. Now, obviously the ending of it kind of sets up Operation Red Flag, which, because of the data Chief and Johnson recovered, which reveals the location of High Charity, and and everybody knows how that ended up. So, if I were to rank these prequel missions, what would I have to give it? Probably a 6, honestly. Like, the reason it's so low like that is because of the story of it. Because the gameplay wise, I think makes up for it. But that story, it's so disappointing. It really is. I was expecting so much more. And it's a shame, because this could have been something really great. It is. So yeah, I mean, that's all I gotta say about the prequel mission. So let's get into the meat and potatoes, which is the main campaign. Alright, I'm gonna play the dialogue so you can actually see a little bit of the new voice actor for Captain Keyes, and the new voice direction, which for Cortana, which we'll get into.
3. Make that 4 kills. Sleep well?
No thanks to your driving, yes.
So you did miss me.
Report!
It must be one of their boarding parties. I'd guess an antimatter charge.
Ma'am, fire control for the main cannon is offline.
Captain, the cannon was my last offensive option.
All right, then. I'm initiating Code Protocol Article 2. We're abandoning the Autumn. That means you too, Cortana.
While you do what? Go down with...
And as you can tell, the voice direction for Cortana is a massive downgrade, in my opinion. Now, if you want to see the original voice acting for Cortana with how much of a big difference it is, I actually downloaded the mod that actually kind of restored the original voice lines for her.
We have to destroy Halo. According to my analysis of the available data, I believe the best course of action is somewhat risky. An explosion of sufficient size will help destabilize the ring, and will cut through a number of primary systems. We need to trigger a detonation on a large scale, however. The Starship's fusion reactors going critical would do the job. I'm going to search what's left of the Covenant battle to see if I can locate the Pillar of Autumn's crash site. If the ship's fusion reactors are still relatively intact...
So yeah, you guys can tell the difference, right? So that's kind of why people say the voice direction in this remake is a massive downgrade from the original. Why were the lines re-recorded is beyond me, but it's kind of weird. But I mean, it definitely took me a while to get used to it, and I'm not uninstalling this mod because it's awesome. Because it's such an improvement. The original voice direction is, it's not perfect, but it's way better than what the voice direction in the remake itself is. Anyways, moving on from that. So, we're going to talk about 3 for 3 Guilty Spark here, and I gotta say, oh my god, I think they killed it. I think they absolutely nailed it. So, before we kind of get into it, the story is mostly the same one, along with a few new lines here and there. So, keep that in mind. But yeah, 3 for 3 Guilty Spark, I think they absolutely nailed the dark atmosphere in this remake compared to that where in the 2011 remaster where it was not that great at all. Like, it was not that good. So, they butchered it, honestly, in the 2011 remaster. So, I feel here, they kind of redeemed themselves here with this remake. With this particular aspect of it, it's really, really good. Now, I will say this, though. That Marine who shoots you because he gone crazy after the whole flood reveal and all that, it's like you have to stand in a certain direction for him to shoot you, versus the original, which, I mean, it's a weird change, but I mean, it's fine, but I'm indifferent to it, personally, compared to others, like I've seen, talk about this, but anyways, yeah. I'm glad that Guilty Spark still evokes the original darkness from the original, thank gosh. So, massive difference there compared to the remaster. Okay, let's talk about the original flood reveal itself, because holy cow, did they nailed the flood reveal. They absolutely did. They absolutely mastered it. Like, I think in some ways it's an improvement over the original, which is kind of shocking to me. I never thought I'd be saying that, as how I really enjoyed the flood reveal in the original. So to see it kind of an improvement in some ways is a genuine shock to me. Now I will say this though, it was kind of weird that what's interesting change about it is, like, remember the bodies of like the dead elite that was like ripped open from the inside? Well, they actually put the dead bodies inside the room where you actually, meet the flood for the first time. So, where in the original and Anniversary, it was actually in a different room. So that was a different change. I mean, it's not a bad one. By the way, I love how the blood is splattered all over the floor. Because, yeah, Halo should have never left M for mature. It never should have left that. So, as you can see here, the dead bodies are all over the floor in the room. Where in the original, there wasn't. There was only Jenkins' dead body. So, it was kind of a genuine... It was weird that they decided to do this, but, I mean, it's not bad. I think it, in some ways, I guess depends on preference, really, if you prefer it in a different room in the original, or if you prefer in the same room in this remake. But other than that, though, amazing job on the reveal. Side note, I also really liked how, at the end of it, when Chief took the video recorder out of his helmet, he actually crushed it, which was really darn cool, as he prepares himself to fight the Flood, so which was really cool. Okay, let's get into the library. So obviously a massive difference here, where there's a whole new cutscene here, where it's actually revealed that the location of the library for NCE is the exact same way it is in Halo 2, where it's surrounded by a snowy environment, which in lore that makes sense. It's revealed in the lore because that's kind of how it was with Halo 2, because the Flood, their infections slowed down in a cold, snowy environment. So that's why the Foreigners did that. It was for a very good reason. Now, as for the mission itself, I like it here. I like the remake version of it. Like, it almost plays like an entirely new level. Because this was the one where they completely redesigned it from the ground up. Because they obviously know, like, I mean, everybody knows that people are not big fans of the library in the original. So, in this new version, I genuinely like it a lot, actually. It actually made the library mission actually enjoyable for me personally. What's really cool about it is the further you go down the elevator. So, yeah, yep, so instead of the elevator kind of going up or down, yeah, it's a straight down, the elevator is. So it's kind of nice. I like that mechanic of it. It's really cool. So compared to the original, where the elevator goes up, and this it goes down. I really like how in the background you can actually see the Salixes. So that's kind of cool. That sort of feature made a return from Halo Infinite. So which was really darn cool. I did like the concept of that. So it's nice to see it here and here as well. So which really darn cool. So yeah, in the flood, the sooner you go down, it's really cool. Where you can actually see more of the flood biomass take over as the infestation spreads. Awesome. Really like it. Really big fan of it. So it was definitely a nice surprise, by the way. Now, let's talk about two betrayals. Okay. Because in the original, you had, instead of going into the generator itself, you have to destroy these conduits, which I thought was a weird change, because in Halo 4 they literally repeated that. So I thought that was kind of weird that Halo Studios decides to do that. I mean, I'm not against it, it's just a weird change, you know? Okay, keys. Again, level design is mostly the same, but I like what they did here. I really like what they did here with this one. With how they did, you know, the reveal that Keys is now infected. Which, I mean, you kind of always suspected it. But to see it here, it's really cool. I will say, though. So, very nice. It's also really cool, unique, as, you know, because Chief asks Cortana, how do we free Keys? Which, you know, she reveals, obviously, that you can't. He's one of them. And Chief is visibly, like, very angry, which you don't really see that very, very angry / frustrated, which you don't see that very often at all with Chief's character as a whole. And without saying much, like, his actions, you know, speak louder than his words, because he was visibly very angry that he couldn't save Keys, like, that he couldn't save him. So, what does he do? He obviously does the whole where he punches into Key's brain to essentially get the codes needed to destroy, you know, the Pillar of Autumn. Because instead of just punching a hole straight through his head, he essentially goes just like where the area where he can get it. So I thought that was interesting. But I know people were saying that was like, I mean, I know people were minor nitpicky. I'm like, I mean, the ring is gonna be destroyed anyway, so Keys is gonna die anyways. Which, I mean, he was already gone no matter what anyways, you know, but I don't know. Okay, now let's get into the finale. The new Warhog run, which, big fan of it. It actually makes sense now, because the ship was split in half when it crashed on the ring. So it's really cool. So I could see what Halo Studios was talking about when they were talking about going back to the old storyboards, because they actually showed concept art of the Pillar of Autumn being split in half. So it makes sense how they designed this new Warhog run, and I really did like it. It was very cool. So you guys got a big thumbs up from me on the new Warhog run. And yes, before anybody even asks, yes, the Grunt Easter egg is still in the game. It's mostly in the exact same spot. So no matter what, as it was in the original. So yep, the Thirsty Grunt Easter egg is still here because when I did my one of my walkthroughs of it, yep, I found it. It's the exact same thing. It's the exact same dialogue too. So it's the exact same thing. They didn't change anything about that at all. So which again is a very good thing. You know, because I think it would have been a disappointment if they cut that out, because that was like one of the original things in the original that made it stand out. Because in the middle of a whole environment or a whole ship exploding, you just see this random ass grunt not fighting, just talk about how he's thirsty and hungry and all that. About, you know, nipple and all that. It was really it was really funny though. It was quite the opposite of tone of the, you know, intention of the mission anyway. So which was really darn cool. So yeah, big thumbs up, big thumbs on it in my opinion. Okay. Also, before we kind of wrap things up, I want to talk about a few things. One, the new legendary ending. I actually like it. It's nice that it paid tribute to the original before doing, you know, a whole new legendary ending for it. So, which is really darn cool. You know, so, and obviously it kind of sets up where they kind of tease that they're remaking Halo 2. Now, with Xbox seemingly going back to exclusivity, if they do a Halo 2 remake, I feel they would have to do even more changes to it than they did here. Because, think about it. Because Xbox and PC guys can already play Halo 2 right now through the Master Chief Collection, which is a really good remaster, by the way, all the way back in 2014. So, how are you going to convince us to buy Halo 2 again? So, it's gonna be very interesting to see what happens if they decide to go that direction. Now the natural environments, massive fan. I am a huge fan of it here because I think everyone can agree that the natural environments of the remake are absolutely gorgeous. It's some of the best Halo's ever looked, period. Still not a big fan of the foreigner architecture, but I've talked about that to death, you know, in multiple videos. Even going back to last year, I wasn't a big fan of the foreigner architecture. That was one of the criticisms I had, and it's mostly still here. Because they only do like one mission where they added like a little brown/grid to it, but it's not enough. More should have been done, honestly. But yeah, I mean, so again, like the foreign architecture, it was such a step back from Infinite, so you guys need to go back to that for whatever is next after this. So how am I gonna rank Campaign Evolve? We got a couple things to consider. One, the whole no PvP at all, like, and there's even no score attack for a campaign only game. That is such a huge miss in my opinion to increase replayability, and no firefight either. I feel like those two at all would give the game massive replayability outside of mods for PC players. Which the modding capability of this game is really easy, seemingly from what I've seen. So which is pretty nice. So, my final score of Halo Campaign Evolved. I've gone back and forth. I'm going to go with a 7.5 out of 10. So, that's going to be my final score here. If you're unsure about it, wait for a sale. Again, it's only $50, which I think is kind of fair. I feel it could have been a little cheaper. So, maybe if they had like Firefight, it would definitely warrant that $50 price tag. But again, if you're unsure, wait for a sale. Okay, you know. But yeah, I mean, that's everything I gotta say about Campaign Evolved on this one, guys. So, yeah, I definitely thought a lot about this project because of the nature of it. So, that's all I gotta say on this one. What do you guys think of Campaign Evolved? Let me know down in the comment section below. If you like this video, hit the like button, comment, and subscribe to the channel. And I'll see you on the next one. Till then, have a good one.